Hey everyone, welcome back to another new episode of Tea Time with Tommy Wrestling Podcast. On this week, we have an extremely amazing Halloween episode for all of you guys. So, first of all, cheers to that, a Halloween episode.
Woohoo! Where's your tea, Norbs?
Got the water.
Got the water today.
Nice.
Anyways, so we're going to be talking about Halloween Havoc. So first off on our list of topics today is the Halloween Havoc 1992. So Norbs, do you want to take that away?
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite Halloween Havocs in WCW. As an old school guy myself, I always watch those classic clips back in the 1990s, and this is actually my personal favorite. It was the spin the wheel, make the deal match between Sting and Jake the Snake Roberts. As you know, Jake the Snake Roberts came from the WWF back in the day, and he came into WCW in August of 1992, and he began a feud with the Stinger. He was the most popular character there in WCW. He was beloved by the fans. And they had a tilt at the Halloween Havoc 1992, and there was the gimmick match that took place at the spin the wheel, make the deal match. So basically, it's a wheel, and there's a whole bunch of matches that could have been a possibility for them to wrestle on another event, and it was actually ended up being the coal miners glove match that ended up in the wheel that they chose, or whatever the wheel chose for them. It was a heavyweight tilt between those two back in the day, and the Stinger winning that match, he was able to use the coal miner's glove against Jake the Snake Roberts, and apparently, like after the match, Jake the Snake took out his pet snake and apparently bit him on the face by accident. So Jake the Snake Roberts, a very methodical man. He's always playing mind games with his mic skills, and very sadistic individual back in the day. So this was actually one of my favorites matches of all time in Halloween Havoc. It was pretty good as well.
Tommy, you have anything to say?
Well, before we start, I have to say something really quick. A little off topic. I wasn't called out or anything like that, but I want to apologize to HIKARU Shida out there for calling her boring. That's not what I meant. No one told me. No one called me out on it. No one was upset about it. But I want to say that because that is because I want to apologize. I didn't mean she was boring. I just thought we needed new blood. That's all. But no, HIKARU Shida, you're amazing. Keep it up. And in the future, you guys know me, I'm not trying to knock the wrestlers, their talent, their person as who they are as humans. That's not what I'm doing. If I do that, it's not about them and their talent. It's just about the situation. So I just want to clear that up with everyone watching. So yes, apologies to HIKARU Shida. So going on to this topic here, spin the wheel. Yeah, it was really, if you could see it, it was really corny acting. I'm not blaming Jake Roberts and Sting. Man, they're legends, right? But the acting was, oh man, spin the wheel, ha ha, and then Sting with let's go right now. I mean, what was going on? But that was actually, it was fun looking back at that situation. And the spin the wheel, the coal miners match was epic and amazing. Poor Jake the Snake Roberts getting bit in the face by the snake. Wow, that must have hurt. I don't know how he did that. That's real. That's not fake, guys. That was absolutely real, him getting bit in the face like that. So kudos to Jake the Snake Roberts with that. But yeah, that was one of those epic matches, back and forth. The young Stinger with the blonde hair, love that Sting version, guys. That was the Sting back in the day. And yeah, it goes on as one of the top matches in Halloween Havoc history.
Awesome. So Tommy, you just called Norb's favorite Halloween Havoc corny.
I said the acting was corny. I said the acting was corny.
Okay.
And you have to agree with that. No, they're amazing. Rather Hall of Famers. I was knocking See, I don't want people to think I'm knocking these guys now, right? No. Like they're amazing wrestlers. It's not their fault they're put into acting. Like they're wrestlers, they're actors. And I just when Sting was like, "Oh man, what are you gonna do? What do you think, Jake?" Like I mean, okay, like they had to prep these guys better. It's not their fault.
All good.
I gotta
Tommy.
say
This is corny. It was corny acting.
That the gimmick itself was pretty corny. Because they always have to put up a cinematic scene for these kinds of pay-per-views. But it was a unique idea back then in WCW.
Well, was that Medusa, by the way? Was that Medusa? The blonde girl?
Yeah, it was
that her?
Medusa.
Oh,
in that
man.
promo. Yeah.
I feel bad for Medusa being forced into that promo. I guarantee she didn't want to be in that promo. I mean, what? The legendary Medusa was forced to do that promo? Well, I guess you got to go through the bumps to make it up there, right? That was before, I guess, she hit the top of her peak. But, I mean, like, what was the bikers and the beers and the thudding of the tables, which was annoying. Them just thudding every second. Like, it's not their fault. It was just corny. The whole thing was not... That's why WCW was sold. That's why WWE bought them. No improvisation whatsoever.
Okay, Tommy.
Corny.
So let's move on to the Halloween Havoc 1994. Tommy, do you think that one was corny?
Oh no, the match. The promo. I couldn't really see, but the match was not corny at all. You had, oh my goodness, you had the guy with the mask with what was that? The pipe, NORBZ? Is that what it was? Yeah, that guy walking around hitting people with the pipe.
The masked man or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, Bobby Heenan completely was correct. He didn't know what was going on, man. Like the match was going classic, and then all of a sudden, you see the masked man, you see Hart pulling Sherry Martel's pants down to show her underwear. You have the masked guy hitting people with the baton, and then you have I don't know what was going on. And then people were walking into the cage, interfering. Ric Flair, and then who's the other? There's another guy in there, right? Another guy came in to interfere. I mean,
Mr. T
was handcuffed.
Special referee.
He was handcuffed. Yeah. I mean, it was epic. Go ahead.
It was a wild and crazy match.
It was
like Hogan and Ric Flair. Like they never really had a good like main event status. Match when they were in the WWF. It took them all the way to WCW to face each other in this kind of situation. So yeah, Hulk Hogan beat out Ric Flair, and then after the match, Brother Brutus Beefcake,
that was a shocker,
attacked Hulk Hogan.
That was
the shocker of the night. Yeah, and it set up the feud with the Dungeon of Doom at that time, because they were a pretty fierce faction back in the day.
So I was really interrupted by NORBZ there, but yes, I was going to get to that. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding, NORBZ. But what NORBZ was saying, good point, NORBZ. Basically, the Brutus Beefcake, shocker. I didn't know that at that time when I was a kid. I just knew it was a cool steel cage match. But when I watched it last night, wow, like how shocking is that? Hogan literally couldn't even get up. He was so shocked from that. Sting came to the rescue, but man, it was a shocker. And man, I wish I was we were in our prime to watch those events, NORBZ, because man, that would have been like I wish we could have done our podcast when that was going on. I'll tell you that much. But
exactly, yeah.
If they didn't have any such corny acting, maybe they would have lasted past 2001. Of corny acting.
Mm-hmm. And even in that one, I see that you put in the notes that Mr. T was a special referee that year.
Yeah, he was handcuffed. The poor guy. He was handcuffed. Yeah. Can you imagine, you're a special referee that you're gonna be handcuffed half of the match? Come on,
Hogan's longtime friend.
If I guarantee Hogan persuaded him, because if I was Mr. T, I'm not getting handcuffed for half of the match. What the heck? Or maybe that's a good idea. You can fall asleep and have a nice snooze until your time's up. Maybe Mr. T had a night sleep during the whole time. But I mean, man.
Well, he added to the angle, that's for sure.
It was. If you guys really quickly, Brett and NORBZ, if you look back, man, they had a lot of at that time. That's when the WCW was at its prime. You had Flair, Hogan, Brutus, Mr. T coming special. Sherry Martel was there. Medusa was there. Jake the Snake Roberts was there. talk about an era of amazing wrestling. If only the marketing team and their corny acting did not interrupt, I think WCW would still be going on. That was just, wow. Powerhouse games.
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Talking
eating,
about
Brett?
Mark.
What
I
are you
mean,
eating?
I made these homemade scones the other day. So
Where are
they're
you from?
cheese and jalapeno scones.
Did you go to England for that? Like, did you get from England?
Yeah. I thought I could like have some like tea and biscuits for our
Hey, that's what
Amazing.
I should add. Biscuits and tea.
yeah, biscuits and tea. I thought
Nothing
it's
wrong with
this.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tea and crumpets. I'm gonna get in trouble
Yeah.
now. I don't. I don't want to be making fun of people from England. Okay, but yeah, cool.
Yeah. You were speaking of marketing, Tommy, so let's move on to the WCW Halloween Havoc commercials. So why do you want to talk about these commercials?
I would like to apologize to viewers and NORBZ and Brit if this topic sounds corny. I made this up, but I just want to reel us back into memory lane. You know, when we're kids. When I was a kid in Hawaii, I was like, a little skull at 8 years old, watching these cool Halloween Havoc commercials, 89, 90. And I just want to talk about it, guys, real quickly, if you two don't mind. I mean, the one with the 1990, I sent you guys that yesterday. If you
I would
both
like to
bothered.
preface that I was not born by the whatever time frame that they're talking about.
Thank you for making me and Norb sound old, Brett. We really appreciate it.
I
Thank you for
wasn't
making us
alive when they
sound
watched
old.
these.
Thank you. Norbs and I are both heading to the funeral home after this segment. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for making us feel better. But basically, if you look at like the one I sent you guys, I don't know if you guys checked the 1990 Halloween Havoc commercial. It's coming. I remember that part where Ric Flair and Sting in their prime would come out and be like, it's coming, Halloween. Man, now that was a great commercial. That was a great commercial they made. The acting was not, I don't think that was corny in that one. Like, that was actually good. And then you had I don't know what was the gargoyle. They always had the gargoyle after that. And the next preceding commercials with the gargoyle and that, but the ones that had the wrestler saying it's coming, oh man, it's amazing. That was epic. I really, but overall, I really enjoyed the Halloween Havoc commercials back in the day. Just remembers when we were like young, right? And it's like, of course, Brett wasn't born at that time, but like, it just reminds me when I was young in Hawaii, and every Halloween Havoc that come by in Hawaii, they'd show that commercial. I think that was epic. And to this day, I believe all those Halloween Havoc commercials are epic.
I may have to disagree with you with the older Halloween Havoc commercials.
Oh, come on.
Pretty corny.
Oh.
They you know what, like, whenever WCW or even the NWA before them advertises their pay-per-views back in the day, I thought it's just like lackluster acting with all the special effects and they
You didn't like the it's coming
put
thing?
in it. No, that I wasn't really a big fan of the promotion, the promos for Halloween Havoc. But although that they gotten a little bit better as the late '90s rolled along, but I do think it's corny. The the promo that they did for the '92 Halloween Havoc as compared to all the other ones. I thought it was it wasn't really the best acting there is, but at least they tried, right?
They're not Hollywood actors.
They gear
Oscar-worthy actors.
They gear towards the kids and stuff. Yeah, they try their acting, but not really the best acting out there for sure.
Everyone has their preferences.
Gotten better.
I thought the first ones were good, guys. Like, it's coming. That was actually the last one with the gargoyle and that dude walking around in some cloak, and that was kind of corny. The last ones, and the werewolf. We'll talk about that one with the NXT one next. But I mean, I don't want to jump the gun, but like, I mean, I like the old ones. That's coming. Like, that just reminds me when I was a kid. In my covers. When we were living the lives of innocence when we were younger, guys, before we hit reality, how the real world works in life, it just reminds me of good times. That's why I don't think that's corny. The acting for the Sting and Jake the Snake, yes, that was corny. No fault, but yeah. But yeah.
So back when you were a lot younger, Tommy, we won't say how old you are, but when you were younger.
What is going on, Brett? Are you just taking shots at me and Norm today?
No, I'm not taking shots.
What is going on here? supposed to be on the same
that's
side.
what happens when you mess with HIKARU Shida.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's gonna
I
get her,
guarantee Britt was
Singapore
talking to
theme.
HIKARU Shida.
Yeah, I was talking
Had
to
a little
HIKARU
pact.
Shida.
That's what
She
happened.
was like, let's just take shots at Tommy in the next episode.
I deserve it. Hey,
Yeah.
HIKARU Shida,
That
amazing.
kendo stick, man. That's coming. That's coming. The kendo stick.
HIKARU Shida, amazing, beautiful wrestler, amazing skills. And I did not. Once again, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk bad about HIKARU Shida anymore. I'll tell you that much. I don't want to get beat up by her kendo stick. Let's come on this show. That would be great. I'm actually gonna email her, and hopefully her agent will get back. But like, yeah, that's the commercials are amazing. I love them.
So moving on from HIKARU Shida and the commercials, so let's talk about the NXT Halloween Havoc on October 28th, guys.
Go ahead, Norbs.
Norbs.
Well, the NXT Halloween Havoc is coming soon, and they're reliving the 1992 format of the spin the wheel, make the deal. They're bringing back the wheel again for this pay-per-view, and it's gonna be interesting to see. Because I mean, there's still gonna be like those classic matches that's gonna be on the wheel, maybe a steel cage or like a first blood match or whatnot. Texas death match. Like who knows what's gonna be in that wheel. When the event comes. So it's gonna be like reliving again 1992's Halloween Havoc with that format. So it's gonna be exciting. NXT is always my personal favorite brand of WWE because of their cutting edge matches and edge of your seat excitement. This event is going to be no different. And with the spin the wheel, make the deal, making a comeback, it's definitely going to be exciting.
Absolutely, what Norb said there, it is going to be exciting. One little thing though, I agree with this whole thing that they're bringing back Halloween Havoc. One thing, why won't they do it with WWE wrestlers? That's something I really wish I could ask. The McMahon families know what they're doing, so I'm not going to question it. But I wonder why they did that, not getting the regular wrestlers to do it. Instead, they got the NXT. Maybe because the NXT wrestlers seem to be a more viable, exciting brand going on with WWE. I am not sure. This is just coming through my head right now, guys. Why they would just literally not use the WWE wrestlers to do Halloween Havoc. But regardless, it looks like it's going to be good. 4 matches seems small, but I guess they want this. It's an experiment. Maybe they're using 4 matches for now to see if it's a success or not. I think it will be because it's great to bring back Halloween Havoc. A smart marketing brand and gimmick is being used here by the McMahon family and WB, so it's good. But we'll see how maybe maybe NXT needs a little push because AEW has been beating them in the ratings every Wednesday night. So maybe NXT needs a little push to market their wrestlers. But yeah, we'll see. Rhea Ripley's part of that action, so it's going to be great to watch. But hopefully they'll bring it to WB because you got to use the big boys, right? Like big top, like female at WB to push the brand. So yeah, that's something that's missing. Maybe they'll do it next year. They'll bring the WB regulars in there.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today, guys. So thank you so much for joining on another episode of Tea Time with Tommy. I'm Britt, and then you have Tommy and Norbs as well. So see you next time, guys.
Cheers.